Welcome back to One Foot In with Ohana and Winn. I am Alex Winn. Next to me is my good friend Eitan Ohana. Eitan, how are we feeling today?
I feel phenomenal. I feel excited, ready to talk about some action that we're going to see this weekend in college football.
I feel alive, man. I feel alive, and
Alive.
I have a good feeling about this episode, dude. I don't know
Mm.
what it is. Let's jump right into it with the game of the weekend, the big storyline. Everybody's talking about it. Game day is going to it. And that is Tennessee going to the University of Oklahoma to play Oklahoma's first SEC game ever.
Yep.
Talk me through just a little bit about the story of this game.
So, this game is interesting because there's more than one storyline we could cover. First of all, I want to touch on something the University of Tennessee decided would be a prude decision. Um, it's not, spoiler, they've lost points with me. They've lost goodwill with me, has the University of Tennessee. That's adding 10% on ticket prices to fund their NIL. Don't get the money from the students and people going to the games. Get the money somewhere else. Absurd, ridiculous, just disgusting act by Tennessee. But, whatever. I move on to one of the other storylines, which is the Josh Heupel revenge slash return to Norman, Oklahoma, where he was obviously the offensive coordinator. I don't know if obviously, but he was the offensive coordinator. Fired in 2014 after a bowl loss to Clemson. He was the quarterback of the team in 2000 that won their last national championship, their seventh one. And so that's a factor, and that's part of the storyline. And then obviously we've got the modern day, the present teams that will be going at each other. Is Oklahoma coming off that win against Tulane, which was a failed lock of the week, whatever? Are they, able to keep it going, the momentum, or is Tennessee just going to continue being the wagon that we've seen so far? So,
It's interesting. And if I'm Josh Heupel in this moment, he's been very shush about it in the media. If I win your school a national championship, and then I come back and then I guide you to like some of the best years ever, I give you a bunch of Heisman quarterbacks as your quarterbacks coach and then your offensive coordinator, and then you just like cut me down like that, and then like now I'm a Tennessee coach and I get to go back in there like I don't know, like I think I'd be pretty pissed off, and I think he
oh,
is pretty pissed
oh,
off.
I'm sure he
Even
is.
though he's put some lbs on and he's not the same Heupel he is, I think he still has got that same fire. And also, I want to touch real quick on what you were talking about earlier about the Tennessee boosting their ticket prices. That stadium seats 101,000 people in it,
Mm-hmm.
and they still feel the need that they need to charge more people.
Yeah.
Like, dude, a beer at a college football stadium and a hot dog is like $30
Yeah.
right now. So that's already insane. And then the fact that they feel like they need to just keep taking more money from the people that go out of their way to come and support them, to me is like it's just wild. Like I don't know. I'm not a fan of
Yeah.
it either. But anyways, back to the actual game. This is a great game. Like
Oh.
this is a great game.
Oh.
Saturday night in Oklahoma, like Nico Iamaleava, like oh my god, I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about just the clash that these teams are going to bring together. And Heupel and Venables worked at the same time
Yeah.
in Oklahoma, so they kind of know vaguely each other's kind of general way of
Yeah.
going about this. And I cannot wait. What do you feel like this game is going to come out to be?
So, okay. Oklahoma. I apologize to you on Tuesday's show.
It was heartfelt too.
It was heartfelt,
It was heartfelt.
from the heart.
Shout out, baby Gronk.
Shout out. I apologized because I was wrong about you in one specific game. However, in this one, I'm all in on Tennessee. I think Saturday night, Nico Iamaleava, for anyone that doesn't already know his name, or, for the national media that doesn't already discuss him, I think this is his moment against a big opponent. I think Nico stamps his place amongst the elites in college football. This is his primetime breakout game. The world will know who Nico the Freako is.
I think this is his Freako game, man.
This is his Freako
This
game.
is his game.
And by the way, it's not just Tennessee is not just a Freako show. That's not
No.
all they've got. Now he is averaging 10.40 yards per pass attempt, which is, beyond the first down, which is pretty amazing. Um, Running back Dylan Sampson, he's got 9 touchdowns on the year. He's a weapon. And I just think overall, And now, by the way, to make it clear and to give credit to Oklahoma, this will be a strength-on-strength game. It'll be Tennessee's offense against Oklahoma's defense, which has played well. They've only allowed about 265 yards a game, forced 10 turnovers already. So this will be a strength-on-strength matchup. I just believe in what I've seen from Tennessee's strength being the offense more than I do in Oklahoma's strength.
The current spread is 7, favoring Tennessee. What do you think about that number?
I mean, I guess I could throw this out right now. I like Tennessee to cover that spread. Ooh. I think Tennessee wins big. I just don't trust Oklahoma. I don't think they're that good. I just don't.
All right. Here's an interesting stat. Tennessee has a 6-7 record when playing true road games under Heupel. In those games, the Volunteers are averaging 30.9 points per game and are allowing an average of 32 points per game defensively. Mm-hmm. For context, over the last 3 seasons, Tennessee has averaged 43.8 points per game at home and have allowed an average of 20.5 points per game in Neyland Stadium. Neyland Stadium is legit, and spoiler alert, I will be going there shortly. So I'll give some live reporting about that. But Neyland Stadium is legit, and I was in Norman, Oklahoma last year. I watched Oklahoma play UCF. Yikes! Let me say that they won, but I don't know. Like, I think that the town and the people of Oklahoma, like, this is right now the biggest thing in their lives right now. This is the biggest thing in their lives. And because of that, and because I think that I think this team just has a chip on their shoulder, I like Oklahoma to surprise people here. I mean, look, I'm not going to come out and just flat out say that I think Oklahoma's going to blow it. I think Oklahoma finds a way to squeak this out. I really do. Now, the problem with that is that I have Tennessee going in my playoff, and I don't have Oklahoma in my playoff. Look, if Oklahoma doesn't squeak this out, which, like, I do think that this is going to be a really close game. I think this is going to be pretty tooth and nail. If they don't squeak this out, like, I don't think they see this as a huge loss, though. I mean, Tennessee, like you said, on both sides of the ball, Tennessee looks phenomenal. Yeah. But, like, I think too many people are underselling, like, the heart that Oklahoma's going to bring in here, and Tulane ain't got no heart.
Yeah, Tulane hasn't. Yeah, we don't need to talk about Tulane's
no heart.
Lack of heart.
But this is an interesting game. This is a great game. I think that these teams match up really interestingly together. I think the main storyline, like, obviously you have Iamaleava, and dude, this is his first, like, real road game too. Like, there's a lot of news here, a lot of, like, new things for both sides of the ball. Oklahoma's first SEC game, Iamaleava's, I mean, kind of his first SEC game, but, like, road game, and, like, I think he's going to look a bit more rattled this game. I think that secondary and those linebackers and those D linemen like Ethan Downs they're going to get to him a couple times, but I also, like, with that Heupel chip on his shoulder with Iamaleava, like, I do think that this could go either way. But I think this will be more competitive than you may think.
Yeah, I mean, that Heupel stat about the home and away, I think it doesn't take into account that he's got a different quarterback now, and that I think that quarterback is special, and I think that matters. I mean, obviously it matters. Everyone knows it matters, but I think that really matters, and I think certain guys don't get rattled or you don't see a drop off in play in their first big moments. I think Nico's one of those guys, and I kind of just trust him at this point. That's kind of what I'm basing most of this on, that I do trust him, that I don't think he'll be rattled by the moment or by the crowd or the people in Norman, and I think he gets the job done. And
they're coming with so much momentum, too.
Yeah.
Tennessee's got so much momentum.
I trust it. I mean, that's why I'm rolling with Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
I think that Oklahoma's going to put up a fight. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but we're going to see.
We will see. It's the best part.
All right. I think that's all that we got about that main point. Let's get into our next segment, the rundown. Big matchup in the Big 12. Utah versus Oklahoma
Yeah.
State. And not only is this going to be a good game, but this matters for both of those
Oh,
teams
100%.
a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And you have Kansas State making the playoff, but you have Utah winning your Big 12.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the way that you think about just this game, but not only this game, but like what this game means for both of these teams.
Well, yeah, like you said, this game is big, and by the way, it's big in more than one way. It's big in the combined age of the two quarterbacks for the teams, assuming Cam Rising is going to be taking the field. Combined age of 49. That's older than, I don't know if any of you were watching Sunday Night Football, but Caleb Williams and C.J. Stroud were the two quarterbacks in that game. Combined age of 46. So yeah, pretty old guys. Yeah, pretty old, signal callers for these two teams. But yeah, I do have Utah winning the Big 12. So obviously it's a massive game for them and one that I think they need to win for that prediction to ring true or to come true. And I don't think it'll be easy either. Obviously, Rising is coming back off of injury. And so there's always...
Most likely.
Yeah, most likely coming back. And it would be off of injury, which
Yeah.
Russ is always generally a factor in that,
Yeah.
in those situations. And Oklahoma State's offense has been scoring about almost 43 points per game. But I do think where they lack, not even where I think they lack, where they statistically lack, is their run game, where they rank 118th, even with a guy like Ollie Gordon,
Yeah.
an experienced O-line, and yet they still, are just not good in the run game. And their defense might be worse than the run game. 6 yards a play to South Dakota State? What are we doing there? And then Arkansas, 648 yards, 7 yards per play. I think Oklahoma State, yeah, that's a problem. You can't have that if you want to be competitive. And I just think, I guess I'll cut to the chase. I do like Utah winning this game, obviously, as I have them winning the Big 12. I think Rising will be able to perform just well enough, even if there is rust, to help the team. And I think Micah Bernard in the run game, he's averaging 6.3 yards per touch, which again, against Oklahoma State's defense, which, like I mentioned, is not very good. I think they'll be able to do just enough. And I guess I'll get to the spread in a bit. But yeah, I like Utah in this game.
I'm with you. I think Oklahoma State is horrendously overrated. I watched that Arkansas game, and I remember being like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, they ended up winning that game, and they should not have won that game at all in the first place. And I know it's like early in the season, first game of the season, but like it was so sloppy, and it was just like, I was like, what am I watching right now? And again, Utah is a team that has proved it in the past. Like they have played big teams and they have beat big teams and they have showed that they've got it figured out. And even though Rising is coming off an injury, he's just so experienced in that position. He knows the team so well. He knows the playbook so well. They know how to. I feel like they just know how to attack these teams. And like maybe Utah won't start as fast as they would love to because he's coming off of this injury and they're trying to get their footing. But I really don't see Oklahoma State winning this game. I don't really see an aspect of it. And it's like, you look at their running back, Gordon, it's like, okay, last year, he's a Heisman favorite.
Yeah.
But like you said, 3-something yards per carry with a Heisman favorite last year against a lot of teams that are pretty weak.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see that happening. I think Utah's built a good team. They're ranked highly for a reason. We have them winning the Big 12 for a reason. And I just don't see Oklahoma State finding a way to figure that out.
Yeah, I guess we're in agreement on that one, yeah. Both like Utah.
Yeah.
Simple.
I think another good game that I want to touch on real quick is Illinois-Nebraska. That is a really interesting game. Tonight, Friday night.
Friday night, yeah.
Friday night in Nebraska, like, dude, come on.
It'll be electric.
This is somehow a top 25 matchup nowadays, which is so weird to think about, especially being that Nebraska went, 5-7 last year. But
you get the guy, and
the momentum is on their side, man.
Yeah.
I think the state of Nebraska, I think Lincoln, Nebraska right now is bumping.
Yeah.
Bumping.
Yeah.
You get a guy like Raiola in there, and then it's like, okay, he's a big recruit, and then he shows up and he plays well. You beat Colorado, you've got the momentum. I think Illinois is a good team. I think they're going to put up a good fight. I was looking at a lot of stats earlier, and Illinois showed that they have a good defense this year. This game is going to come down to turnovers. It's going to come down to turnovers, and it's going to come down to if Illinois can rattle Raiola. Like, he's a true freshman. This was his 4th game of the season. He's got a lot riding on his shoulders. Like, he's got a big thing. And so, like, look, I think if he stays head down, I think if they're able to mitigate the turnovers and just, like, figure it out, then I think they're going to be good. I think that they're going to win well. I think they could even cover that game. But I think if he throws a pick early, and if Illinois gets the ball and goes down and scores, then this game is on its head.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to hear your thoughts about this before I...
I think you kind of touched on it pretty well. I think the matchup in this game is Raiola against Illinois defensive coordinator Aaron Henry.
Yeah.
I think that's the matchup, and we're gonna find out a lot about Dylan Raiola.
We
and
are.
I do long term. I love his potential as college pro quarterback. Whatever. I love his potential. I love the talent. But yeah, like you said, this is gonna be the 4th game of his career, his college career. He's super young, and this is gonna be a big game. Eyeballs are gonna be on it, and it is in Nebraska, so that'll be a positive for him in that sense. But still, you've got to go out there with that pressure and perform. And to me, he does seem like a guy that will be able to handle it. But we got to find out. We got to actually see some proof of concept. He did, obviously, there was the Colorado game, but that wasn't really him just dominating or whatever. He didn't really need to, obviously. The defense shut down Colorado. Colorado was turning the ball over. So even though that was the first big primetime sort of game, I feel like this will be the one that's the real first test for him in his career, and I do think he'll pass it.
Yeah.
I do like Nebraska in this one. A little Nebernoy action, though.
Yeah. I like Nebraska in this one, too. But, again, like, for me, they've got to establish a run game.
Yeah.
And if they can get the run game going downhill, that's good, because then you've got Raiola who will be able to make some short passes and keep the defense on their toes. But I'm telling you, if there's an early game turnover, an early game mishap, I'm nervous, like, for Nebraska. I don't know if they'll throw it all away, but again, like, early in the season, like, freshman quarterback, like, they should not be in any place cemented in anybody's mind. So I think this is going to be a good game to watch. I do think they're going to pull it out, but I think it's going to be a dogfight for them.
Agreed.
All right, I think we should jump into one of our favorite segments right here.
Let's do it.
The lock of
It's that time.
the week.
Uh-huh.
Now,
It is that
as
time.
you all know, we had some problems last week with Eitan and Tulane. We don't need to talk about that anymore. We've dwelled on that enough. We're past it. Eitan, I want you to go first. I want you to tell me what your lock of the week is.
I'm happy to do this, but, before I get into my official lock of the week, I want to throw out some picks that I do like, and we've talked about some of these games. But, I like making you people money, so here's some picks for you. Tennessee, last time I checked it was 7.5. I still like that number. Tennessee minus 7.5 against Oklahoma. Utah plus 2.5. They opened as favorites, and they've gone down in the past day to 2.5 point underdogs. I love Utah in that spot. This is not my lock of the week, not my official lock of the week. However, I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. The Louisiana Ragin' Cajun plus 3.5 against, you know who they're plus 3.5 against?
Who are they plus 3.5 against?
The Tulane Green Wave.
Oh.
The Ragin' Cajuns.
They're back.
Slam.
They're
plus
back.
3.5. Because Tulane, they cannot cover a spread, believe you me. But my official lock of the week for this week, and I was struggling with this one because I don't like the fact that I was picking a favorite, but I feel so strongly about this pick. The University of Southern California minus 6.6 favorites against the Michigan Wolverines. And we're going to touch on this game in a second, but that is my lock of the week.
So that was written down as my lock of the week as well, and I love that. I just don't see any way Michigan's going to be able to stop that. Like you said, we're going to segue into that in a sec. I'm going to put my lock of the week out there. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it up here. I'm going to go Louisville minus 10.5 over Georgia Tech. I think Louisville is criminally underrated, right? Okay, that's not fair. Not criminally underrated. That's crazy. But they're underrated. Like, Georgia Tech beat Florida State,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, Georgia Tech's good. And then you find out, no, Florida State
State's terrible,
sucks,
yeah.
which I will get to later. But it's like, Florida State sucks. And I think Georgia Tech is Georgia Tech. It's at Louisville. Louisville looks great. They've got that chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
They've got momentum. So my official lock of the week, it was USC. Look, if he gets that wrong with the USC thing, I get that wrong too. It's a double punishment on that.
Double punishment.
But I'm going Louisville minus 10.5. I love them there. I think it's going to be at least 2 touchdowns. I could see them winning by 3.
Okay. I like that. That's a good pick. But, I mean, let's get into that USC-Michigan game.
Let's do it.
Because, yeah, I feel very confident about this one. You do too, I think. I just don't think Michigan's that good. I don't
know a way they can win.
Yeah,
I don't know a way
see
they
it.
can win.
And by the way, I don't know if there's been a big hubbub about the quarterback switch from Davis Warren to Alex Orji. That's not a simple switch. It's not like you're just plugging in a guy and then you're running the same system. No, those are 2 completely different philosophies for the 2 quarterbacks. And to do that in a week's time is kind of interesting, especially against what I think the real story for USC is. And Miller Moss has been good.
Yeah.
That offense has been good. Lincoln Riley obviously will always be able to put up a good offense. But that defense, for the first time ever under Lincoln Riley, wherever he's been, I think is a story. New DC DeAnton Lynn, son of Anthony Lynn, former Chargers head coach, former NFL player. Shout out. That defense for USC that was ranked 119th in the nation last season, through 2 weeks, it's 55th, which is if they were an average defense, that would be a huge win for USC. They're above average at this point, and I have them making the playoff. They've covered the spread in both games. They're 4-point underdogs against LSU, 30.5-point favorites against Utah State. So I just trust what this USC team is.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I just don't know what Michigan is going to do to stop them. I think, like, when you read the USC offensive roster, Miller Moss has played great. You got Woody Marks, who's a great running back. And then, like, their leading receiver is their tight end. But then you listen to these names, and you got Zachariah Branch, Kyron Hudson, Jacoby Lane, Kyle Ford, and you're like, dude, like, I don't think Michigan's secondary is going to be able to stop that.
Will Johnson's great.
Yeah, he's great, but, like, I think they have so many different players. And also, too, like, Lincoln Riley offensively has been phenomenal, like, throughout his career. Like, when he was at Oklahoma, he had so many Heisman quarterbacks. That comes from having a good creative playbook and knowing where you want to go with the ball. And, like, this is USC's first real Big Ten game. I think first Big Ten game ever. So, like, yeah, like, I think maybe in certain spots it might be a little weird. Maybe their defense won't be great. But, again, like, what does Michigan prove to us on offense? Nothing. And like you said, you cannot just throw a quarterback in and think that it's just going to be everything. Orgy's still unexperienced.
Yeah.
Like, what, he's going to run? Okay. How far is that going to get you? So that's why I'm so adamant about them covering that game, USC. And I have them in the playoff too. I mean, I think if you beat LSU in the beginning of the season, like, I think you've got momentum. I think you're going to go up there. I think you're fired up. You're feeling good. They're going to watch that Texas tape too and be like, "Oh my God, I'm going to pick this place clean." And I think that's what they're going to do.
I hope that's not the mentality, honestly. I hope they don't just walk in thinking they're going to dominate. And then I think they will dominate. But don't think it's a cakewalk.
Yeah, but I mean, Lincoln Riley's a good coach.
Yeah.
I mean,
they'll be fine.
I think they'll be all right. All right. I think that's it for our rundown.
That should be it.
Real quick, the reason I'm wearing this hat, this Gators hat right here, is not because I am uber confident in the Florida Gators this weekend. It's because I think the opposite. I think the Florida Gators are going to lose this weekend, to be honest with you. And if they don't, they're going to look bad, period. I'm wearing this hat because I'm interested to see who their next head coach is going to be. Who their next head coach is going to be. But I think this program is tanked.
Yep.
Horrible. And I think it's going to take a long time for them to get back to where they want to be, which I don't even know what that is anymore because the last time they won anything significant was 2008, 2009. That ship has sailed, so we'll see.
Well, if you want to know who we think should be the next head coach, you can head over to the TikTok or the Instagram for exclusive content over there, which will be coming out.
Also, some odds just dropped, and the Liberty coach is now the running favorite to be the Florida Gators head coach, which I think would be the worst decision that they could make.
Lane Kiffin second, though, plus
Lane
500.
Kiffin is second, then you have Drinkwitz at third. I think it
No,
was.
Drinkwitz fourth, something like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, let's get into the final piece.
Welcome back to the Complaint Courtroom. Now, we did a segment last week, and in case you aren't aware of what it is, essentially we'll both have a minute to complain about something in the college football world, and the other person will determine if that complaint is valid or not. Essentially, they're the judge, and yeah, that's pretty much simple as that.
So I went first last time, or you went first last time, sorry. So should I go first this time? Should I
Go
be
ahead.
Stand?
Go ahead and complain.
Okay. Tell me when I'm on the clock.
Clock starts now.
We've talked about the Tennessee revenue sharing, which I'm not happy about.
Yeah.
We talked about the quarterbacks being old as hell, which I'm not happy about. My complaint courtroom is, why is Florida State so bad at football this year? It makes no sense to me. Look, I get it. Your quarterback leaves, some important guys go to the draft. You still have the same head coach. You bring in a transfer quarterback who's old. He's old. He's experienced. He's been at Clemson. He played well at Oregon State. He didn't play great at Oregon State, but he played well at Oregon State. You still have guys in the D-line. Like, you still have a team there. How are you this bad? I don't understand it. I honestly think that this summer, that whole team was like, man, we didn't make the playoffs. I don't give a damn. I'm going to recess. I'm going to party the whole time that I'm there. And they look lifeless. They look lifeless. When they were getting beat by Memphis this weekend, that stadium emptied out. Like, if you look at the replays, you're like, dude, what is going on? I don't understand how a culture can flip on its head like that. FSU, no heart. The Florida Gators are getting thrashed at home, and they're still, am I done? The Florida Gators are getting thrashed at home, and there still is a fan base there. FSU, joke. I don't get it whatsoever. I don't get it.
I can't disagree with that. Now, I will say, I think you might have given DJ Uyangalele a bit too much credit there. He sucks, but
It doesn't make any sense, dude.
Overall, yeah, well, you know what? FSU, they spent all of last year, the end of last year, complaining about not getting into the playoff. They don't have to worry about this year. Not a bit.
They don't have to think about it at all.
They don't have to think, not even a wasted second.
No.
Good for them.
Mike
Honestly.
Norvell, poser. Poser. He sucked in the beginning, and then Jordan Travis came in and saved him, and now he's back to sucking. Shocker? No. All right. You now are on the clock. You have 3, a 2, a 1.
Okay. I want to complain about not about any one school, any one team, any one football thing. I want to complain about the national media for one of the conversations that has been had in the past few days. And this is maybe more of a football at large conversation, but I'm going to connect it to college football. It started off with Mel Kiper going on a national show and saying that the NFL should ban too high safety looks, should force safeties to play closer to the line of scrimmage so offenses could be more explosive, which is crazy, in and of itself. But my official complaint is that Daniel Jeremiah, after, said that if we're already filing complaints and making suggestions, the NFL should go to college hash marks for more space and more fun. No. College hash marks are for college football, where it's supposed to be a non-professional, more fun, more explosive, more ridiculous, more absurd sport. It shouldn't be the NFL. Yeah. And so, no, we should not blend the two sports. They should be two separate sports. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous to suggest it. And honestly, I think most people agree with me. And I don't know why. This is a national conversation.
All right. I mean, I can't disagree with you there. I think that's crazy, and I think that the more that the NFL is going to try to put all these laws on the game, the less watchable the game's going to be in general. And like you said, college football and the NFL are two different things. And if you don't think they are, listen to an NFL player compare their college football experience and their NFL experience. Don't try to compare them.
And this is no disrespect, but ask Bryce Young.
Ask Bryce Young. I saw Derrick Henry on a podcast saying that it was night and day. And he went to Alabama, which is one of the best schools. Like, the NFL and college football are different. Don't try to make them similar. And, you know what that reminds me of is of the banning safeties is like in baseball when they stop doing the shift. You know what I mean? It's just stupid. I think it's just stupid. I think trying to put teams in a box and schemes in a box is just never going to work.
Yeah.
It's just never going to work.
Well, I guess both our complaints are valid.
Let us know what y'all think of our
Yeah.
complaint. I mean, how could you disagree with FSU sucking, though? You know what I mean?
I think
it's actually criminal. But, if you feel a certain way
maybe
about
you're
it.
an ardent FSU. Maybe you're part of the Uyangalele family and you just disagree.
And let me know who you think the Gators head coach is going to be, because I got no clue. Urban Meyer the other day said that ship has sailed. Said definitive, not surprising.
Listen, Kiffin, Lane, doors always open.
When are they going to fire our boy Napier, dude? Our boy?
Soon.
It's not our boy right now. All right. I think that wraps up everything for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Another episode will be out on Tuesday morning. And oh my God, I am very excited about that episode.
Have fun watching college football this weekend.
Yep.
Be ready because we'll be talking all about it. Definitely going to be discussing that Tennessee-Oklahoma game on Tuesday. So.
And I'm excited to see if there's any upsets. Very excited. You never
Mark
know. It's early in the season. You never know.
You never know.
Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Catch you in the next one.
See you.